Hi everyone, this is Dan, and this is Marvel Superheroes Secret Wars number 12, the finale. We've made it to the end. Holy cow. I've made a lot of videos on Secret Wars this year, and while it's been an absolute blast covering this series and all the comic book issues that led to this series, I am kind of getting near the end here and just a little bit over it at this point. Still though, this is a good ending to Secret Wars after the Big Bang. Fantastic cover right here. Love the layout and the concept right here. Freaking Mike Zeck, he's like a freaking cover machine. Anyhow, yeah. So written by Jim Shooter, penciled by Mike Zeck, inked by John Beatty, lettered by Joe Rosen, colored by Christy Shield, edited by Tom DeFalco. So all of our heroes have essentially been blown to nothing. Here you see iconic. Shot of Captain America's shield basically shattered. Essentially the smoldering remains of all of our heroes were pretty depressed, bummed out, and freaking alien cat lady apparently comes to the rescue. We go to Doom, and he's basically like, yep, still the boss. All right, I gotta go. So he's gonna go sleep, and he's kind of warning Claw at this time, like, don't let me fall asleep, or else my own control of this power will drop. And now that Doom is essentially a god, any sort of faltering in his mental control will cause the whole universe to basically destroy itself. Back on the floating piece of Denver that's flying back to Earth, Enchantress basically starts a bath and summons a water sprite. And the water sprite essentially acts as the sort of Jim Shooter catch-up edition. She kind of recaps what has all happened, why the Beyonder does what he does, and at the same time the sprite kind of explains a little bit of some backstory behind the reasoning behind the Beyonder. And Enchantress kind of bitches out the sprite pretty hard, like really bitches out the sprite pretty hard. And then she kind of explains what else occurred with Doom killing all the heroes and Doom kind of just relaxing and planning to get his mother back from Mephisto. And also the sprite explains that the Beyonder is actually not dead, which will essentially resolve a little interesting side note from the previous issues. So she leaves the bathroom, Lizard basically freaks out, and Volcana kind of calms her down. Then all of a sudden Doc Ock freaks out, and he gets into a fight with Molecule Man. And meanwhile, Volcana gets kidnapped by Enchantress and essentially starts to get murdered by her. And Molecule Man essentially traps Doc Ock and defeats him, but he rushes over in time to stop Enchantress, and he's about ready to stop her. Enchantress teleports, but the Lizard jumps at her right as she teleports and freaking bitch slaps her with his claws and blinds her. She essentially murders the Lizard and then uses the remainder of her power that she absorbed from Volcania to teleport back to Asgard. So that's essentially the last we kind of see of the villains. And we go back to Doom, and all this while Claw has been acting very weird over the last couple issues. He's been kind of sneaking around, being kind of silly and ridiculous. And Doom wakes up and he's pissed at Claw because he's like, hey, I told you not to let me fall asleep. If I fall asleep, the whole universe might end, etc., etc. And then Claw said, hey, the heroes, do you think you actually killed them? And Doom's like, well, yeah, I killed them. It's like, and then Claw projects basically this scenario here where alien cat lady uses the last of her life force to save the heroes and revive Colossus. And Colossus then takes the rest of his time to revive the rest of the heroes, starting with Mr. Fantastic, who then uses technology and a little bit of Deus Ex Machina to revive the rest of the heroes. Meanwhile, Doom's looking at this like, no. And Claw's like, hey, so they're alive. I think you should probably do something about it. You might want to actually vaporize them this time. And he's kind of like, that's not possible. Boom, in comes Thor's hammer. And he's like, son of a bitch. So he is about ready to lose his powers, but then he realizes that he's essentially he's losing control of the power. So every time he unleashes the power, he's essentially almost destroying the world. So he stops himself just in time and decides to lend some power to Claw for him to go outside and defeat the heroes. Meanwhile, pretty much the entire Marvel superheroes united comes out to attack This is a great panel here by Mike Zeck, and they chase over, and Doom essentially tells Claw to keep him busy. Claw summons an army of monsters to delay them, and he also revives Ultron and sends Ultron at him. And this is a pretty awesome double page spread by Mike Zeck. The only thing I don't like about this double page spread is there's a lot of like lines going everywhere, and it almost feels like it's cool, but it's a little bit like too much stuff almost going on at one time. Great double page spread though. These weren't common back in the day. But yeah, man. Ooh. So Thing is battling this other guy. She-Hulk backs him up. Hulk is fighting Ultron. Ultron gets the jump on Hulk. And then Iron Man, Wolverine, and Spider-Woman try to get the jump on Ultron. But then Ultron gets Mary sued by the Wasp. I'm just kidding. And then Monster comes in over here, and they're basically fighting to the death. Captain America is able to defeat Claw and go in to confront Doom. Claw, of course, acting very deceptively here. He wakes up and follows Captain America. Captain America essentially, I like how Doom is always lounging, like freaking does not give a fuck about this battle going on outside. They face off against each other, and Doom essentially vaporizes Captain America. But then for some reason, he's not sure why, Captain America keeps showing up and not dying. And he's starting to freak out, like, what the hell? And then just as Captain America's about to defeat him, Doom essentially loses control of all of his powers. He's going out of control. The whole universe is getting blown up. Cap tries to help him out, and Claw sees an opportunity and is able to essentially open up, and it turns out it's the Beyonder who's been possessing him, and who was possessing Spider-Woman, who was possessing the Hulk, and now he's able to absorb all of his powers back from Doom. And my understanding of this whole scene is that Captain America isn't doing anything interesting. It's that Doom thinks he's vaporizing him, but the Beyonder, while controlling Claw, is kind of teleporting him around and shit. Needs a little bit of explanation right here. I'm not sure why Jim Shooter kind of left this unsaid, or at least didn't try to explain what was going on. But yeah, the Beyonder essentially gets all of his powers back. He bounces out, and he sends Claw and Doom. Doom, now having returned back to his original state, they get essentially banished, and the Beyonder ends this war in this game, and Captain America's kind of left there like, the hell happened? So the heroes, meanwhile, they kind of collide and join together. Colossus mourns his alien cat Putang that died. The rest of the heroes return back to Doom Base, and this is kind of an interesting. At this point, what Jim Shooter accomplishes with the second half of the issue is essentially line all of the lines up so that it's a coherent passover to the issues that happen henceforth. The only exception being Thor, because Walt Simonson kind of didn't give a fuck about Secret Wars. But essentially, he's kind of lining up, like Spider-Man's getting ready for the return issue with Roger Stern and the first introduction of the black suit. The Hulk and his anger, he's getting ready to go back to Bill Mantelow's issue. The Avengers are kind of getting prepped up to going back to the Avengers issues. You see the new costumes with Storm, Professor X, and Rogue, so they're getting ready for Uncanny X-Men 181. And also get a pretty interesting. So the Lizard now reverts back to Dr. Kurt Connors, who essentially what happened was it looked like he got zapped, but essentially all of the powers of the Lizard kind of absorbed the Enchantress's magic. So he's back to being Kurt Connors and kind of going with the Spider-Man at this point. I like how the Hulk is in freaking tighty whities now. It's kind of funny. So Lockheed and the Dragon come back, and essentially this is all kind of tying up all the loose ends to get ready for all the lineups. It's kind of fascinating how this is a big crossover, but unlike modern crossovers, this really ties up all the lines pretty well. Because after all, right, all of these lines are at least back in the 80s, most of these guys were all selling in the six figures. So, you didn't want to screw with the line too much, or else you could have some serious issues with the fans, right? And Captain America, this is kind of like the biggest Deus Ex Machina in this issue. is freaking him wishing the shield back. I was like, what the hell? It's kind of a weird thing. This is one I don't like, but to be fair, he probably shouldn't have destroyed the shield to begin with, especially within one issue. He kind of goes back and forth here. So anyway, you get kind of the oddballs. So this is like the Doctor, the Spiders, Hulk, and Magneto get transported first. Then the X-Men come over. Colossus is all bummed out, because he has no more alien putang. So he gets shipped over, and the X-Men get sent out to X-Men 181. And then the Dragon kind of comes with him, and they get a Shazam. This is actually pretty fascinating because it kind of explains the jarring break in 181. In 181, the X-Men get freaking shipped over to like Japan, and they have like essentially a kaiju issue, which is pretty cool. But after that, you get the incredible reveal of the Thing essentially deciding to leave the Fantastic Four and stay on Battleworld for a little while. And then She-Hulk joining the Fantastic Four at this point. So at this point, John Byrne has She-Hulk in the Fantastic Four, and he writes the Thing on Battleworld in the Thing issue, or a separate series. So which actually kind of works out pretty well, and it's definitely a really interesting milestone in John Byrne's run on Fantastic Four and the Thing. But yeah, you get a great back and forth with Ben Grimm and Reed Richards talking about the whole issue. So the Avengers leave, and they go back to figure out what the heck they're gonna do with this is actually where the Avengers start, the West Coast Avengers. I think after Secret Wars is when West Coast Avengers starts. All in all, the last man standing on Battleworld is Ben Grimm, the Thingless Ben Grimm, as the Fantastic Four get shipped back, and that is the end of Secret Wars. So, 12 issues, the first major crossover event in comics, sales-wide, very high-selling series. Overall, a success, though the writing is kind of uneven for the most part. So my overall opinions of this issue, pretty good first half. Second half was kind of boring because he was just kind of wrapping up events as they are. My overall feelings on Secret Wars, I would say mostly enjoyable read. I don't necessarily think it's like the greatest thing ever. I think it was kind of uncharted territory. It was the first major crossover event. And I think considering the new challenges that come with writing crossovers, I think Jim Shooter did a pretty decent job with Secret Wars. Now, that being said, was it as good as Crisis on Infinite Earths? No. And did it potentially lead to maybe a little bit of hubris on Jim Shooter's part in future Marvel installments later on in the 80s? Probably. But it still stands as a milestone in American comic books and a milestone in Marvel Comics history for the most part. So overall, can't hate it. Was a fun ride for the most part, and good props to Jim Shooter and Mike Zeck on this historic run for the most part. Anyhow, you're probably wondering, where's the art? Well, hang on one moment. All right, here we go. So this is the art. I figured since I ended The Path to Secret Wars on a cover, I should end Secret Wars on a double-page spread. So for those of you who are curious, this is how a double-page spread gets done in American comic books. You get these 11 by 17s, you put them side by side, you take an inch off all sides, and that is a double-page spread. So here you go. We got Captain America leading the charge. You got the Hulk. There's Spider-Woman, Spider-Man, Wolverine, Mr. Fantastic. I love this flying scene. I actually really like this probably the most out of anything. You got Iron Man, Storm, Thor, Human Torch. There's Dr. Doom from his Tower of Doom, summoning up some ridiculous monster right here. I kind of made this almost like some kind of weird alien raptor, like something from dinosaurs or something. But I was kind of messing with just some sort of something that would like be worth drawing a double-page spread over, right? So you got basically all the heroes jumping in at one time. You got a big overall scene. Definitely an enjoyable piece of work to do. Obviously, I could put a little bit more detail into this, but just for now, this was a lot of fun to draw. I could see why people love doing double-page spreads because it's kind of exciting, honestly. when you get to do a double page spread and get to have a ton of fun with a lot of characters for the most part. Anyhow, that's the video, guys. That's the end of Secret Wars and the end of this series. Thanks for staying with me this whole year. It was kind of a crazy year, but you know, at least we got to finish this one. Anyhow, if you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. If you got any comments about Secret Wars issue number 12 or the entire series, leave it down below. And I will see you next time.